Welcome to the Take It Home podcast, the podcast so bad we really should just take it home. I am one of your hosts, Doc Simmons. You can find me on all social media at Doc717. Tonight, I've got the full crew of beautiful ballers. I'll give the hot tag to my partner and have him introduce himself.
Yes, sir. This is Zach Hendricks. Find me on all social media at Z Hendricks Brand. And of course, if you love your mama's favorites, check us out on Country Air Official for Facebook and Instagram, and then Country Air Brand on the Twitter machine. And we'll pass it off now to the senior official.
What's up, guys? Referee Perch. You can find me at Perch XLV, # for the ref brand, and Waffles Take It Home podcast.
Waffles. How was the breakfast hunt this weekend, fellas?
Really good, really good. I have a new joint in town. It's been there forever, but I've been going to it the past couple of weeks. Good Lake House Cafe. Bacon, egg, and cheese on the sourdough with 2 pancakes on the side has been the go-to. And my God, they've got that down to a science.
Hell yeah. That out in the Milwaukee area?
Out in Ocon.
Okay. Very nice. Zach?
No breakfasts again. I only get wine and dine when me and you hang out for breakfasts.
Oh, all right. I mean, I'm sure you eat breakfast and probably just forget.
Oh, actually, I didn't have breakfast, but I guess it counts as breakfast. I was on my way home Sunday night from my cousin's Halloween party, and Val texted me because there's a Raising Cane's in Gurnee, Illinois.
Oh yes, you did send me the picture.
And I texted Val, and I was like, "Hey, I'll be driving through Gurnee at 10 o'clock if you want Raising Cane's." And her and Jack texted back, "Yes, please." So we had Raising Cane's for breakfast. Nice little three-piece each one of us. Jack was a fan of it. He said probably the best chicken he's had. Loved the Texas toast, but he wasn't too much of a fan of the fries.
Yep. Their fries are probably the weakest thing that they have, considering that they have like 3 things.
They have like a great fast food, and all they make is 3 things.
Yeah. So can't be helped. I had some delicious homemade blueberry pancakes over the weekend. The girl was throwing down for the breakfasts. I also had me a birria and egg quesadilla for breakfast on Sunday.
What?
Like the birria tacos, but turned into a quesadilla with some egg. Banging.
Bro, that sounds. Was that like at a place by you?
No, I made some last week and then had some meat left over, so I threw it together.
I'm expecting the next sleepover some bang quesadillas.
If there's some left over, I got you. Actually ate a lot over the weekend. Fried chicken, some birria, the blueberry pancakes, the quesadilla. It was very food filled weekend. Enjoyed it. I am very fat right now.
You're not fat if you're a heavyweight.
Yeah. That heavyweight body is definitely peaking right now. Good thing we ain't really got much this weekend, so I can work on that. But I know what Perch has been working on. That banger of the week.
Oh man, this week's banger of the week. A few different variations of the song, but a damn good one. And if you Google it or you find it on iTunes, there's lots of different versions. But one I was bumping throughout the week, especially this time of year, walking through the just neighborhoods for work and everything. It hits in the nighttime, it hits in the daytime, especially at Halloween time. And I've been watching a lot of movies with it. And it's the theme from Halloween.
Oh yeah.
John Carpenter at his finest. The piano or even some of the dance remixes or anything in there. I definitely like it. It's good, scary music, and gets the hair on the back of the neck to stand up, especially when you're walking in towns that look like the movie Halloween,
which is a very urban movie setting, so very easy to.
Yeah, big fan of horror movies. So especially around this time of year, I like to rock that soundtrack And now that there's 12 movies, there's so many different versions. So yeah, the Halloween theme, a damn good one.
Hell yeah.
And
That's
went
one.
back and watched that third one, that most recent one, and absolutely loved it. I thought it was a really good movie, really good horror movie all around. Halloween Ends, uh, really good.
I believe Zach had some opinions on that one.
Halloween Ends.
Yes.
It was not great in my opinion. I mean, I talked to Campbell Myers before it, and he said like to expect like it being a great concept, but his opinion was it could have been drugged out movie. So like I watched it I thought about what his opinion after that, and kind of agree with him. There was things I thought like we could have like made it a little bit better at the end, but I mean, if you want my opinion and you want to know, like, do I want the movie experience, like going to the theater, sitting down, enjoying it, having the popcorns and all that, or should I just sit at home and watch it? My opinion would be just sit at home and watch it.
Mm.
Yeah, I was at
Movies are,
home and I watched it and I loved it. I thought it was a damn good horror movie. Blumhouse Productions makes some good modern horror movies over the past maybe 5-10 years, and this one was like their highest budget one yet. They had a new little intro for him and everything, so I was all pumped going into it. It was fresh on Peacock at home. Oh, I got the full experience and absolutely loved that movie. The best modern horror movie since um, Hereditary in my mind.
Okay.
um, I mean, I didn't love the movie, but I mean, I mean, the way they ended how it was good. Just I feel like there's like a different story being told, but it was still a good story. Just not as much Michael.
Okay. That is fair. All right, fellas. So besides, or I guess besides Halloween Ends, what have we been watching this week? Let's start with Zach.
Uh, I watched Monday Night Raw. I mean, I didn't watch it fully, like I was working and all that, but seen some like just watched that. Not bad. I'm wondering if they're like kind of going with like Seth Rollins being the baby face, being a baby face though. Like he's getting like super over naturally with just his entrance and all that. The crowd loves it. And they had him take on Austin Theory, so it just makes you wonder what the plans are with him. Like that guy could do anything and make it gold. So very interesting with him, especially like when they talk about who do you think could beat Roman for the belt. And it's like could be Rollins is a good choice.
Oh yeah. Rollins is not a bad choice at all. He did go back to the blonde, I believe.
He has like blonde like tips, like blonde ends, like not like the half blonde.
Okay. Blonde tips. Go with the highlights. Very early 2000s of him.
Yes, sir. Besides that, I watched some scary movies. Checked out that movie Terrifier. I heard Terrifier 2 is really good. Terrifier, the first one's it's all right, just a lot of things going on. I mean,
Okay.
good gore, good like character, looks creepy. But like I talked to Chuck about it yesterday, and Chuck he said they blew all their budget on like making the killer look cool and like all the parts where he's gonna kill people make look cool. That they didn't spend no money on like actual actors. And
Yeah.
when Chuck said that, I was like, damn, that is the most like that is like probably the best like way you could describe that movie.
Okay. All right. Hey,
Bro.
you gotta have a good monster.
Yeah, like terrified. That dude looks creepy as shit.
Gotta
But
have a good monster.
I know it's ain't really wrestling, but watched Ink Master. They had this finale today. I won't spoil it for anyone who's interested, but it was good. It was pretty cool. I like Ink Master, like looking at tattoos and like really cool tattoos. But the last thing I gotta bring up is that Simpsons Treehouse of Horror.
God damn it,
That
yeah.
that that I knew Doc's not gonna say he watched, even though Doc brought it up to me on my birthday. He was like, "That's something I gotta watch."
Dogs, after I am behind on TV from people coming over last week. Uh, I haven't watched
I will
anything.
say, damn good one. First one, Val didn't like how they have three stories. The first story Val was sad about because it was they're trying to cause harm to Maggie.
Okay.
Second one is the one that you're very interested in, the Death Note parody. And then the last one, like I don't even know how to describe it, but it was like very entertaining. Like I don't know what, like I don't know if it was a knockoff, but it was something like probably came off the top of the dome. But it was very good and a little crossover appearance.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I gotta get. I'm behind on TV. I'm probably gonna throw in a couple things as soon as we get off of here and try and catch up. Uh, go down the line. Perch, what have you been watching?
Yeah, last week AEW pretty damn good. Danielson taking on Sammy Guevara, a good match. Like seeing Sammy's character, and especially when he goes head to head with Danielson. Good finish to that match. Really liked it. Two guys going at it, in great shape. Really enjoyed Moxley against Pentagon. Great match for the heavyweight championship. They really closed it out with a bang. Waiting to see Moxley line up that clothesline. Oh, it was so cool. And he missed it a few times. Penta got out of the way, but eventually he hit it and turned Penta inside out. Went for the cover and a close two. But that was such a great part of it, knowing that that clothesline was so devastating the week before, waiting to see him unload it again this week, and he made us wait. It was beautiful. Loved it. Good finish, good match all around. Really liked it. Yeah, I've been watching some good horror movies. Uh, Caught Terrifier 2. First one, oh, I really liked too. Good character, good bad guy in it. You know what you're getting in the way of those horror movies. Definitely more about the practical effects to it, which I love. Those classic Tom Savini movies and Greg Nicotero from the 80s, 90s, all the good. We're going to put hard work into making these props and then uh, maximize the effects. Um, so yeah, first one I liked, and then watched the second one with my brother and dad the other night, and holy smokes, that movie requires having to talk to someone afterwards just to ease your own mind. What did I just watch? My brother's line the next day was, Perch, that was an awkward ride home, all by myself. Yeah, but definitely when you're into horror movies, there's certain types of horror movies, and yeah, Terrifier 2 definitely delivered on anyone who who's into good modern horror movies. Wild, wild, just gory slasher, unlike anything you've seen probably, but it delivers.
Hell yeah. Nice. Nice. Yeah, I did hear some things about Terrifier 2. Does seem interesting. I am not the biggest horror movie fan, but that one has come up a lot on the interwebs. So it's probably pretty good. Me did catch the AEW last week. I really enjoyed the tag match. Jericho Appreciation Society versus Blackpool Combat Club. Always love a good tag match. Really enjoyed the story that they're doing with Wheeler Yuta and Danielson. A little internal strife. Yuta standing up for himself. He's not the same kid he was, 8 months ago or whatever. Being a man, really enjoy that. Yeah, the match with Penta and Moxley was really good. It did leave a little to be desired for me personally, because I know how hard those guys can go in like a death match setting. So I just kind of felt like it was kind of this would be better with some pay-per-view time and a little bit more build up. But I think the biggest thing is what happened at the end, seeing if we're going to get, that full on MJF face turn. The firm came out to beat up Mox. Max had told him earlier, don't touch him. I'm going to beat him by myself, not wholly clean, but I'll take care of him myself. Came out to kind of make the save, and they beat him down. Was not expecting that. Him and Stokely Hathaway have a storied history. And Max has always been that kind of jerk. But we'll see where that goes. I really enjoyed that. as far as horror movies, not a horror movie, but I did watch Prey. And we were talking about with Terrifier, the monster designs. That might be my favorite Predator design of all the movies. Big Predator fans over here in the Simmons household. That one might be my favorite design. It does have me excited for rumors of them doing more historical pieces with the Predator universe. So there's talk of samurai era. We were shooting the shit back and we type if they went through like the Crusades and stuff like that. So give it the full Assassin's Creed work. I would really enjoy that. But Prey was pretty good. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Don't know right now where it ranks in my Predator ranking, but really enjoyed it. And like I said, that Predator design was super on point. I think that's it for me. So why don't we talk about our weekends? Zach, why don't we start with you again, since you might have had the lighter one?
Yes, sir. My weekend was a weekend of no wrestling. Friday, just hung out at home, watched some good TV, chilled with the family. I think I watched Terrifier that night. Saturday night, went to my cousin. He had his house. He had a Halloween party. I dressed up as Jay. My cousin was Silent Bob, so we were Jay and Silent Bob, and we were out there snooging in it, baby. I
Yeah,
memorized the
y'all looked
whole.
really good.
It was definitely a good one. I memorized that whole rap, so I
You
was
got
some.
to.
Yeah, I had the rap
Any,
down. Had all.
anytime somebody says $15 or
Man, put that shit in my hand.
yep, it just gets me going.
Oh yeah, it was good. What else? It was fun. Slept over, woke up early, and that's how we got the Raising Canes. Sunday though, we went to her mom's house for trick or treating. Uh, trick or treat like Halloween's like her Val's mom's Christmas. It's required to show up. It's required to be dressed up. All that. So was dressed up as werewolf Ned Flanders.
Yes, and you also look good as that.
Try and pull it all in honor. Yeah, it was in honor of Treehouse of Four, but yeah, definitely was good. But missed the wrestling.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll be back to it soon enough. Um, I'll go next. Me myself finally had one show this weekend, but I did. More importantly, have some friends from back home in Virginia fly out to come see me wrestle Friday at Mondo Lucha. Big show of the year. Everybody knows if there's one show you got to make in Wisconsin, you got to make Mondo. Great time as always. I did miss most of the burlesque getting ready. Mondo's a involved show, so it always takes a bit more work to sort things out. So sadly, I did miss most of the show, but good time, great locker room as always. Jay and Andy and all them and everybody that works at Turner always takes wonderful care of us. And it was just, that good Milwaukee wrestling party atmosphere. Me and Jared Jacks scheduled to defend our Mondo Lucha tag titles against Red Goldstein and surprise tag partner Mustafa Xavier. First time working Mustafa. A little heavyweight on heavyweight action. He might have gotten a slight edge, but it did look like me and Jax were pulling it together at the end. And then there was a surprise. Those damn bad Goldsteins come in, lay out Jerry, lay out Red, and steal the titles. It was announced that this story will continue at the January 20th show at the Cooperage. Super looking forward to that. That was my first Mondo show. The crowd there is always super live. There's no gates, no chairs, it's standing room only. So the crowd is right there. You really get the feel from them. So really looking forward to handing out some revenge there on January 20th. Next day, like I said, my friends were in town, so we just grilled out, ate a bunch of food, drank a lot, chilled because a lot of like half of them definitely drank too much at Mondo and had a little bit too good of a time at the Vanguard. But it was real nice. Hadn't had most of them out here yet since I moved here, so full of all the good emotions. Sunday just took it as a rest. uh ate most of tried to put a dent in some of those leftovers. I'm known to overcook. But yeah, just a real fun fam weekend. Really enjoyed it, and now it's back to the grindstone. Perch, what did you do this weekend?
Yeah, had a fun weekend kicking it at Mondo Lucha with Doc Simmons at Turner Hall Ballroom Friday night. Such a fun venue. We were talking, saying that's like the favorite venue right there. So much good emotion, sentimental times, and a great hall to watch fans enjoy pro wrestling, and amazing to be inside there and perform pro wrestling. Never forget the first time as a fan watching ROH live at that place. Um, Always holds a special part in my heart. So yeah, to kick it at Mondo Lucha this week was amazing. Best time of year for pro wrestling in Milwaukee. um, Had a couple matches that night. The first one was Johnny Mondo against Gringo Loco. Uh, awesome match. Those guys were phenomenal. Working with Johnny Mondo again after the big heel turn several years ago was very cool to make good this time around
Yeah, he
and
comes to
call it right
save
down
the
the
day, defend the
call it
honor of Milwaukee
call it right
against those
down the
dirty
middle.
Chicagoans.
and and yeah, it was fun. At one point, Gringo Loco hit me in the corner, and I was just about out. Johnny picks me back up. It was like birds were cycling around my head, and Gringo comes in and gives me a forearm in the corner and took me out. um, but then I got woken by the sudden thunder a moment later of what appeared. I watched later in the footage because I was still out cold and, until this moment really shook me up. A top rope super hurricane Rana.
Yeah.
Uh, Absolutely amazing. Some things you have to see to believe. And sometimes you're like, oh, you can tell me the story, but it won't do justice to how it looks. And seeing that top rope Rana was just unbelievable. Both of
Yeah.
them standing on the top turnbuckle.
No, yeah, I got asked earlier in the night how I felt about the ropes, and I thought they were pretty solid, but those two definitely put them to the test.
Oh, did they ever? Understanding the term base god for Gringo Loco and more reasons to understand just what that truly means.
Yeah.
And to have someone else's life in your hands and vice versa. Incredible level of trust and professionalism between those two. And to put on a match like that and to highlight it with a finishing maneuver such as that, incredible. um, the next match on the night, we did the old the Milwaukee reset. After you take a bump in the ring and get knocked out, all you do is go to the back and drink a coffee and run back to it.
That's all you got.
Dust off your collar. We don't smoke grits, but it would be an imaginary cigarette and a cup of coffee and punch in the clock one more time, just like a union break. That's the Midwest way. And so went back out there and had a match with the Beast, defending his Mondo Lucha title against Egotistical Fantastico. Great match. At one point, all the guys on the inside, the heaters on the outside, had to get tossed out. So I gave him the old "You are out of here." One thing led to another. Ego was not happy, and then the Beast brought out his chain and turned into a chain match. Very cool. Uh, Strapping that chain on the arm was it was a struggle. He was fighting. He was fighting it. But a good match all around. The Beast ends up winning and retaining his title. and amazing night of Mondo Lucha. Fun time at the Vanguard afterwards. The best restaurant in Milwaukee and best place for an after party show, especially Mondo Lucha. It's the best night of the year for wrestling in Wisconsin. And then we made the trip late night down to Kentucky, Indiana border, and had a doubleheader there on Saturday. Black Label Pro, the creatures from the Black Lagoon, or wrestlers from the Black Lagoon, BLP Spooky.
Yep.
Very fun. Fun matches all around. At one point, there was a match, a three-way tag match, and all of them hopped up on one another's shoulders, and it was like a giant chicken fighting match. So referee Aaron didn't know what to do, so he called for assistance from the back. I came running out, climbed up gingerly onto the turnbuckle and up onto his shoulders, and officiated. Told them all to get down. it was uh, it was quite the scene. Very very funny to watch back. A fun moment. We got up on that view and inside the ring at about 8 feet up there. It was a different view, especially around Halloween time. Goro is one of my favorites from Mortal Kombat, so paid homage to him. Big tall guy, 4 arms. We gave her hell.
Let's have full
Uh,
respects.
Yup. And the next match I had was Billy Starks against Brogan Finley. Good match. Those two left it all out there that night. Hard hitting from start to finish. Bully Starks pulled some shenanigans, but I think it backfired on her. I didn't see what it was, but she ended up.
You heard it through the grapevine.
She ended up eating a tombstone for Brogan to win. The next match on the night was the main event for the BLP heavyweight title. Kelvin Tankman was defending it against Alec Price. Great match up between those two. The triumph from Alec to make his way and to crawl and fight through his back was giving him soreness through the match. And at the end, he gave it everything he had, but he climbed up to the top turnbuckle for his blockbuster. His back gave out. He went for it. Calvin caught him and hit him with the Tankman driver. Great storytelling. Very fun match all around. Tankman retains the title. Fun show. The next show was that night, and it was Fright Night 4, put on by Mouse Photographer, and a good crew. Fun place, fun venue the entire day. There were bands playing and music going. The show started with a big rumble during one of the bands playing. So it's like a 30-minute rumble. At one point, I found myself in the ring, and they were playing beanbag toss. So I got the beanbags and started juggling. It was wild.
I did see a clip of that.
Yeah, saw the juggling.
I didn't see the juggling. I saw the beanbag toss. I didn't know you were in there.
Yeah, we made it in at one point, and yeah, wild, a crazy scene. Half hour of wild, pure chaos. And then the match on that show was the Natterday Saints against the Philly Marino Experience. However, they were down. It was Philly who was out, and our love goes out. And Damian Saint ended up taking it, or Damian Chambers took his place. And it was a good match, a wild brawl throughout the entire arena. It was a short arm schoolboy that ended up picking up the victory from out of nowhere. Good old ripcord schoolboy.
Oh.
Fun match, a good maneuver, a good finale. Really enjoyed it, and a fun night all around.
Hell yeah, brother. Awesome. Let's keep it moving. Topic for tonight. I asked the fellas, it is spooky season, or at this point, the end of spooky season. but I had to ask, what are your favorite horror moments in wrestling? I'll go first. My favorite is actually a very recent thing. It is a product of the Thunderdome era, and that is WWE's camera work. They've done it with notably Keith Lee and uh, most recently Dexter Loomis. And that is they'll have the shot of a wrestler in the foreground, but they won't be in the center. They'll be a little off to the side, and then all of a sudden you see another wrestler just peek his head up right behind them, and they have no idea. And I have been loving that visual that they have been using lately in WWE. It's nice to see that they can do it live, because I know a lot of times that probably had to be we need the camera right here for this moment. But it is nice to see that they have work that in. Um, Another one I got to bring up, and it's one of the most iconic. It is also from WWE, back in the Attitude Era, and that has to be the Ministry hanging Big Boss Man. Just a terrifying visual. Boss Man, underrated worker. And like don't know really how they pulled that off. That man held his breath, I guess. I don't know. But that is one of the more iconic sights from WWE, and I believe WrestleMania. I believe that was during WrestleMania. But that is another one that I have absolutely loved. Let's go reverse down the line. Perch, your
Yeah,
favorite horror moments in wrestling.
straight up, Doc. That moment you just spoke of, um, being younger, always, going to the store with parents and always checking out the magazine rack. I always look for wrestling magazines. I remember seeing that picture of Big Boss Man hanging from The Undertaker in a little square, no bigger than a 50-cent piece inside a magazine, probably right around the time it happened, WrestleMania 15. And that moment stuck with me for life. Holy smokes, that's unbelievable. I'd kind of known about wrestling a little bit, but like that moment was like it made everything real. And not the fact that, Boss Man came back later on and saw him wrestle, but seeing that image just captured me that day. And one of the most horrifying images I'd ever seen. And it was pro wrestling. And really, from that day forward, it really hooked me, and to really get me intrigued to find out more and learn more about pro wrestling. So yeah, thinking back, that was probably one of the scariest moments for me as well. Big Boss Man getting hanged on that cell. Um, I would also say in that era of becoming a fan, Undertaker as his ministry was just so scary. Putting Stone Cold up on that TX logo,
Mhm.
Stephanie McMahon up on that logo. Like I remember playing the game WWF Attitude, and it was like, you know, an actual house set. They gave you the stage and everything for entrances, and I always pictured Taker just crucifying people on there. It was so scary. It made the Attitude game for 64 like scary for me in a good way. I loved it, but it was like don't play that game at night in the dark basement. That and seeing the Brood entrance in that game was awesome.
Rude had a
But
good entrance.
man, those things you do as a kid just to scare yourself
Mhm.
and then run as fast as you can upstairs. um, those were a few of them. Yeah, Taker certainly in that ministry role was as scary as pro wrestling got for me.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Zach, what do you got, brother?
I got a couple. Probably the biggest one I like was the whole build up with the Firefly Funhouse going into the Fiend,
Mm-hmm.
the reveal of the Fiend and all that. Just it's perfect. Just watching everything, how creepy the Fiend was, and just I like the fact that like, oh, we're gonna do a childhood, make it a childhood show, and just like bring out this demented character from here.
Yeah, evil Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, love that. It was everything was just perfect. I want to say like I was like first time I watched the Firefly Funhouse, I was at Perch's place and we were watching Raw and it came on and like I just remember like I looking at Perch and like Perch like I don't know what's going on here, but I am like he just like called out like how he was so intrigued by it and like every week was just something better and better. I don't know if it was Perch, it could have been someone else. I want to say it was you, Perch, but I just remember watching him just being well, just whoever I was with, we were both very intrigued, very hooked on everything. And obviously, we seen what the Fiend did, and the Fiend was just super awesome. Um, over the pandemic, the zombie when the zombies were in the match with the Miz and all that, I loved that. That was great. Uh,
That
seeing
is
all the
one of those things. Though I didn't love it at the time, I look back and I think this is why I love wrestling.
it could be ridiculous and be so good. And then the last one was I don't know why, but as a kid, I was always like freaked out by it. But when Undertaker left, like stopped being the American Badass and was transitioning back into the old Phenom and like it kept having all those video packages for Kane just popping up out of nowhere. I was very into that. Like I remember like being younger and being like, he could come from anywhere. Where is he at?
I don't know if I was watching during that time. Interesting. I might go back and look at those.
They're not creepy at all. There's nothing about that that could be creepy, but for me, I just remember it being like creepy.
No. It is one. It's one of those things that I thought about before because I don't remember the transition back. I love American Badass Taker. That is like arguably one of my favorite eras of WWE. SmackDown was on point then. Um, but no, yeah, the transition back is something that I don't clearly remember, and I've kind of wanted to go back and watch. Now that you bring it up, I might have to do that. Okay, fellas, why don't we talk about what we got coming up this weekend? Um, Perch, let's start with you.
This weekend is a Friday Saturday combo at the Berwyn Eagles Club, Berwyn, Illinois, Chicago area, for Women's Wrestling Army. It's going to be a great day. 2 days of TV taping and live wrestling action. Pro Wrestling TV, I think, is where they air their shows. So stay tuned, as well as a lot of stuff on YouTube and social media. But yeah, it should be a great time. Bobby Cruz and Maria Canellis run that company, so it's great in-ring experience with a lot of women from all over the world, and great training on TV and working cameras and production. So yeah, it should be a great weekend of learning. 2 days at the Berwyn Eagles Club, Friday and Saturday, 7 o'clock.
Hell yeah. And actually, since you brought up Pro Wrestling TV, I think it's good to announce that the referees and wrestlers of the Take It Home podcast are officially announcing that we are exclusively working with whoever who pays us. This Fight Plus and IWTV things that have been dropping today have been hilarious to me for some reason. But we're just going to go with whoever pays us. um, Zach, what do we got this weekend?
Our weekend is to be determined.
Yes, TBD.
Another weekend when them shooters ain't booked, but we might just show up somewhere and do what we do.
Mm-hmm. We are
Yeah.
hunting around. If not, I do have to do the man of the house thing and do take care of some things around the house. So not too upset if we don't do it. But yeah, if you guys know any shows, as always, Tag Promotions, let them know we want to work for them. Let them know that we want to wrestle in front of you. But as of right now, it is a TBD for us this weekend.
TBD. And I know Doc don't mind being mad at the house, but I mean, if you guys really know those promotions, like
Yeah, shoot them our way.
I, I love the family, but 2 weekends in a row feels very weird to me.
Yeah, that it'd probably be a little bit too much for you since you had last weekend off. But yes,
I
yes,
looked at Val Friday night and I was like, so what do we do? Like,
yeah.
anytime I have like those weekends off, which aren't really often, but like a weekend like this weekend, like Saturday, I was up early going to the stores and stuff. And I was like, why are you rushing? I'm like, I feel like I have to be somewhere. Like,
No, yeah, yeah. When you're used to working just about every weekend, a weekend off is can be hell. Can be hell.
also, we forgot to recap one thing on what we did this weekend. Because Doc, you just trying to be all humble and modest. My boy Doc got
Oh
one of
yeah,
the greatest Milwaukee achievements for a Wisconsin wrestler.
yes, I
Come on,
did.
Doc.
It is for my old hip hop heads. It is very similar to the Rockefeller Chaining Day. I finally got my Vanguard jacket. Great experience. Funny to find out they just thought I already had one and just wasn't wearing it for some reason. Don't know why they would think that. It is one of the staples of the Milwaukee wrestling scene, and I am very happy to finally have one.
I called it out too last week because I was like, I just had that feeling. I was like, man, I was like, man, I've been cool to do it together. Doc beat me to the punch. Uh, but I'm happy for you. I mean, for those who like don't really know, I mean, you'll see the wrestlers rocking it. That's that big thing, knowing like, hey, like I've made an impact in the state by like earning this jacket, and yeah, super pumped. So that quit being so humble about it. We see post. There's been 3 or 4 posts about it. It's a cool thing. It's a cool nerd thing. I always said the silver jacket and the wrestling Funko were always like 2 of the coolest things you can get in like
Yeah,
in the state of Wisconsin.
I mean, yeah, having your own action figure is still top tier, but having that jacket is a good feeling.
Yes, sir. Is it warm?
It is warm. It is warm.
I was
Can't.
wondering. I was wondering if it was like similar to like the fourth wall jacket.
It is layered, but in a different way. So it is warm, but it's the layers are different.
Yeah.
But yes, very happy to have that. And I'm sure Zach will probably get his the next time there's a wrestling event, and then he's at the Vanguard. As long as they have them in stock. I did not realize they run out a bunch. But I saw a post about that. All right, fellas. Think it's time to wind on down. Almost time to take it home. Perch, any final thoughts or questions?
Yeah, going back to the wrestling TV we're mentioning, um, Fight Network, Fight Plus is now in the game for almost like an IWTV. Going to be a lot of good independent wrestling through that, as well as been seeing pro wrestling TV dropping a lot of different wrestling like Warrior Wrestling and Women's Wrestling Army and a lot more in between. So a lot more networks and a lot more ways to stream your favorite wrestling and great opportunities for us to get our faces out there to people all across the world. So uh, almost like the WWE network, the independent wrestling networks are thriving and doing really well. So if you're listening to this and want to check out some cool independent pro wrestling, stay tuned because there's a lot of different networks that you can check out and have wrestling at the drop of a hat.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. This is I like me and Perch talked about it a little yesterday. I we are very interested to see how you consumers um take all this in. This is a interesting time in wrestling. Just as the streaming and internet presence becomes more and more important. So looking forward to see how this turns out. Zach, any final thoughts or questions?
We're on what, episode 98?
Yep, episode 98. I've got it. I just looked at the date. I'm about to shoot a group text.
Yeah, so we're on episode 98. Means we're 2 episodes away from episode 100, which means this episode and next episode are your last opportunity. If there's anything like you're like, hey, I want to hear these guys talk about this, or hey, I don't want to hear you guys talk about that. Maybe you're annoyed by
Yeah,
it.
tell us what you don't like. Also, we we love that type of feedback.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it is, I want to like force you guys, but like, I think it would
I
be
want to
cool.
force you guys. I'm forcing myself on you.
Doc is forcing his wanting you guys to give us creative direction on you. Uh, But yeah, we just want to know like this journey started from just Doc, and Doc was like, "Hey guys, we should just do something to be relevant." And now we're to almost 100 episodes. It's pretty wild. Like
Yep, I'm
I
pretty sure none of us thought it would last this long.
I'll be blunt. I thought we were gonna go a good month. A good month.
But I
But
think this has been therapeutic for us.
yeah, it's been very therapeutic, and like I do enjoy. I'll call them out, like Lawrence Klein, Chrissy Ross. Like when those people tell us, like, "Hey, I listen to your podcast. I enjoy your guys' stuff." It makes me like, "All right, cool." Like this thing that was just an idea, just to figure out, like, can we do something? To now that, like,
Yep, getting
guys,
loosely mentioned in PWI.
yeah, like those small things, and just like, hey, the two of those Chrissy Rosses, Lawrence Kleins, and whoever else, maybe Jim Hawk. I feel like he's a guy who's on here. High five, Tom. Let us know what you want to listen to, man. Like, let us like make the 100th episode like be something kind of cooler, and maybe it's stuff we can add on going forward.
Yes, sir. As for me, as always, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Follow us on all the social medias. Tell promotions to book us because we like to wrestle and referee. This has been the Take It Home podcast. Y'all be easy. One.